Hi everybody, I'm Kirsty Beakin from Nao Nails. In this video we are in Scotland at the Nail and Beauty Training Academy, and I'm going to show you how to make a tip and overlay look like a sculpted nail. Right, I'm quickly going to show you how I apply a tip, and I want to make this tip look like a sculpt. We've got two tips here. They both are different. They look very similar. Difference is this one's a lot slimmer than this one because it looks slimmer. That's it. Because of the C curve. Yeah. This is actually a size 4. And this is a 6. So different companies are different now. We use a lot of 7s. I use loads of 7s. I sculpt more than anything, to be honest, but I use loads of 7s. So I'll show you this one actually. Can you see the sides of this? They kind of scoop up a little bit. So it goes up, yeah? Whereas this one, at the wing, is very straight. So when I put this on, I am making sure that the tip is actually coming straight out of that side wall. So if you turn your hand to the side. So if I was to put that on coming slightly down, you can see that that scoops going up. But I want this to come straight out the side wall. So you'll slightly raise this tip a little bit. Now this one, we can still come straight out the side wall. It's slightly raised a little bit, but the side wall is still straight. Yeah, don't be like getting excited and putting them on really high, because then it'll look a bit crazy. And don't sort of do your normal let's bring it down like this. We don't want to do that. So this is the main thing. I want you to concentrate on getting that side wall nice and straight, because we want to make this tip look like it's a sculpted nail, because we all know sculpted nails are the best. Are you all a bit scared of sculpting?
Yes. Yep.
Who sculpts?
Well, not all the time, but yeah.
Yeah.
I was trained in sculpting.
Yeah.
I was trained in sculpting.
Who's really confident in sculpting? Golf stars.
But then that scares me. So.
But this scares you.
Yeah.
But so I want those of you that are scared of sculpts to be able to make your tips look like a sculpt. Yeah? And also that you're scared of sculpting, be able to sculpt a nail by the end of the day. I really want you to try it. Sculpting a nail is actually quicker than putting a tip on. You may not believe me. I promise you that taking a form and fitting it to the finger is far quicker than going through your box. So, line them all up, getting your gluing them on. It's far quicker to put a sculpting form on and then your product. Because this, you've got to file it down, you've got to blend it. People don't believe me when I say that, but I promise you, if you time yourself, it is far quicker. I know lots of people tend to tip because they think it gives more strength. That's a lie. If a sculpt is done correctly, it will have loads of strength. If a tip is done correctly, it will have loads of strength. And I can't get the top off this.
Oh, I've got to do that. Bloody hell.
Why is it always so hard?
That's glued on.
Just a
Turn that one upside down.
I must have. Well, it's been all around the world and back, so it would have definitely. I mean, gel. Tell you what, gel on an aeroplane doesn't like it, does it? The cabin pressure or whatever the pressure is down there just makes it go. We had a bit of a gel explosion this morning. So I'm just going to put on a little slither, sort of 1 to 2 mils. So I want it straight, the finger slightly anchoring up to create that straight side wall. I'm going to check, lovely, and I'm going to use my little pincers just to bring those sides right in. So those wings are connected.
You know, you said it goes up a little bit. Is it all connected to the nail if it's going up a bit? Like to the natural nail?
It is, because it's right at the tip. Good question. I missed that out. So you don't want to move it right up. Can you see the contact on that?
Mm-hmm.
You want to have a look. It's like what, 2 mil on the nail? Now if you went a bit berserk, then maybe it really wouldn't fit. Now if you're doing a almond nail or a stiletto nail, different thing. Somebody's got stiletto tips. Yeah, we'll do that in another demo. Yeah, because that's a bit more different. So, got a tip on. Oh, and do you know who's got me cutters? Cassidy.
Why?
Because she's putting nails on yesterday.
Guys, no, all nails.
She's like, I've got Cardi B nails on. Like, shall I cut them down, Mum? I'm like, yeah.
Do you want to see it?
Do I want to set it?
The cutters instead of using the scissors.
Oh, go on then. Right, so we're going to cut this down a little bit, so it's more manageable. 150 grit file. I am making sure that I file this so it comes nice and straight out of the side wall. You want to do this before you blend the nail, because I said the answer in my head before. I need to verbalise it. Sorry, girls. So I'm going to take these side walls and make them nice and straight before I blend this, because as soon as we blend this, there'll be hardly any strength there, and you'll run the risk of just snapping it off the nail. Also going to do the free edge at this point as well, because again we won't have stability here if we blend it first of all. And I'm literally just going to skip across, just thinning out that area.
Do you always need to blend them?
Yeah. Now I know that some people say you don't, because there's sort of no contact area on them, they're really thin. However, let's see how thick this tip is. So this tip is almost 1/2 mil. That 1/2 mil on the side will make a big difference, because if your nail overall is 1.5 mil, when you file down, you might just see the tip just sneaking through at those sides. And then what will you do? You'll bulk it out. You'll bulk out the product because you're scared of seeing the tip. So you'll make it fat here, yeah? So that 1/2 mil will make a big difference because it's such a small thing.
So I only buff the sides. I never ever do the top.
Yeah. So you're taking away those wings. Yeah. That's fine. That is fine. I just like it to look like it's grown. It's natural.
Sorry.
How rude. Never done that in my life. Yeah, I'm not fussed. Answer it if you want to. Just going to take this 180 to go through this middle bit here. But I'm just going to be a little bit more controlled. You can wipe over with acetone, which will blend it a little bit more. The only thing with that is if you rub it backwards and forwards, you take the residue of the melted plastic up onto the natural nail. So you have to be really careful if that's what you want to do. If you've got like a really thick tip, for instance, like the ones with a really big well tend to be a lot thicker. So I'm going to wipe over with gel residue wipe off solution. So again, you see how I rubbed it and I rubbed it back. My last wipe on this nail was rubbing back. Then I'm going to use, with the Neo system, you dehydrate then prime. I know some are a little bit different, some don't have a dehydrator. Just on that natural nail. This is an acid-based primer. I'm going to tap off that excess. Come down the middle, watch it disperse over the nail and to the sides, and that will just disperse like that. So you don't have to put like a load on. Yeah? Might have to bleep that out.
It's normal.
Right, so I'm going to use natural beige and we're going to do a 2 bead application. Yeah? I'm going to start here. I'm not going to start here. If I start at the cuticle area, that will start to set before anything else. So when we come to pinch, it's not going to be pinching at the same time. You know, this will be set and this won't, and it'll cause us problems. So I'm going to start here because this has no heat from the finger. Yeah? And then this bead here, because that'll have heat from the finger. So in theory, they set up at the same time. So starting here. And we've almost covered the nail already with that bead. And we're going to tap, 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 just like we did on the practice cards. Tipping the finger down. And then we are just going to encourage the acrylic to come down by patting and pulling at the same time. Get that nice and neat. Then going to get a medium bead, so we're not quite as high in the powder. Tipping the finger down, look how close I am to the cuticle. Then I'm coming beyond the product and tapping from the centre around those curves of the cuticle down. I'm going to put a little liquid there, so when this comes down and overlaps, it gets rehydrated again, so it blends a little bit cleaner. So we've got an apex in the back third. It's nice and clean at the cuticle. It was less time consuming if you get the nail nice and neat, rather than thinking, oh, it's a bit lumpy, sorry, so I'll move on to the next one, because you're going to have to file more. We all hate filing, don't we?
Yeah.
It's the worst thing about doing nails. So we're going to let that set up a little bit, and with my fingers, I'm going to test pinch. Now it's still a bit sticky. Can you feel how it's like it's still a little bit sticky? Yes, it wasn't pulling away, but it's still a little bit sticky. The more I touch this with my fingers, the more it's going to set as well. So bear that in mind. But at this point, I would be doing my next bead on this nail. And then once I've done that bead, I would come back and check that, see if we want to pinch it. Now pinching it is going to make it look like a sculpted nail. And I'm going to put the tool on and then take it off. Check that it's not squishing the sides. Yeah, you want it to be that matte finish before we do this. Sometimes you can feel it heating up a little bit as well, and that's like the prime time to do it. So we're going to pop this on and let it pinch. You don't need to squish it on. Just yet. With your sculpts, it's more about your form fit. Sometimes you don't even have to pinch a nail if you get your form fit looking amazing. But every finger will be slightly different. But it's that end tunnel that you want to be the same throughout. If you rely on the pinching tool on its own, it should pinch more the same. If you are doing the small finger, like the little finger, you would come higher up in the pinching tool, because the lower down you come, the tighter the pinch. So maybe you've put them on a little bit different. Could be something as simple as that.
So on the thumb, would you go even lower?
Yes.
Okay. If you know how to do tips and you know how to do sculpts, when would you ever do tips, if you know what I mean? Or when would you ever do sculpts? Well,
I'd always do sculpts because it's quicker.
so you'd never resort to tips, if once you know kind of...
Not really. I use tips on this hand.
Easier.
Easier for me, because It's more difficult, so I use tips for them.
And there's never a client that might need tips for whatever reason.
Not really, no.
How long does it take you to do a full set of sculpts on a client?
Well, it depends what they're having done. If it's like face, like, it could be between 4 and 8 hours. Depends. Won't it?
I can attest to that.
Obviously, when we film, it takes longer because we're stopping and we're doing different, things. But generally, to do a full set of something like this, about 2 hours. Because they're not too complicated. So, what do you all charge round here for a full set?
I start at 30.
£30.
35 to 38.
35 to 38.
Is that it? Why do you only charge that much?
Because of whatever it's the same average.
Is that?
Everybody put your prices up.
That's it.
Are you charging that because of the non-standard salons doing them for cheap? What if they had like acrylic design work? So say they had some marble work and 38.
I've put mine up to 38 recently and
Yeah.
I was shitting myself.
And how long does that take?
It's going to be
Between
like
an hour and a half, an hour and a half or something like that.
Yeah.
If it's a full set of reverse, I put 2 hours in.
Yeah.
It just depends. That's generally an hour, unless my client asks for detail. Then I
Yeah.
put the extra time in.
Yeah. It's too cheap, that is.
How much do you charge?
Usually 35.
Or your area?
I charge £159 for a 3-hour appointment, but that's
But
different.
back in the day, did you ever work in a salon?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the lowest I've ever charged, now I've been doing nails for 23 years, the lowest I've ever charged was £28. That was a long time ago. The average in Stoke is sort of 45 to 55. And that's Stoke-on-Trent. It's not like a big city, is it?
Yeah, it's not glamorous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would charge 40 to 45 for sculpts.
Yeah.
But 35 to 38 for tips.
Yeah. Why would you charge differently?
See, I don't
Because probably sculpts take longer.
They take longer for you.
Yeah.
So I'm going up the side walls now. This filing angle is very important. I see this all over the world. I've got that t-shirt. Sorry, just saying. Yeah. I've got love it. Now you see how my file is actually straight with the finger. It's not like this. Not everybody, lots of people do this, yeah? So they'll file and they'll hold the file like this, and they'll keep skipping up, and they'll create a thin patch here. The nail is only as strong as the weakest point, yeah? If you have one weak point, that nail's not going to last, yeah? So you've got to ensure every point of that nail is strong. So you see how it's straight with that finger, yeah? Let's move it to the side so everyone can see over here. It's straight with the finger. I am under the nail, yeah? I'm not like this. Lots of people file like this and then they'll scoop into the nail and create that stress patch there as well. I'm going to go around the cuticle area. This is where I like to butcher people. But you've got tough skin.
Yeah.
So I'm going round the cuticle and I'm only, can you see what I'm filing? Just that bit. And I'm only touching about this much of the file. And as I come round, I'll come round to about 1 o'clock and then I'll change the positioning of the file. So this positioning, I'm coming round and I'm sort of wrapping around this nail now. When I file the free edge, when it's a square nail, I'm not you do a square nail because it's probably one of the hardest ones to do to get perfect, and everybody hates squares probably for that reason.
Yes.
And they're classed as old fashioned, but it's actually, if you can get the structure on a square nail, you're winning at life. So as I'm filing now, I'm coming up the side so you can see I've only filed that section because I'm coming in at this angle like this. Yes, it's still quite high. So that's still quite a high angle. We're not wrapping round just yet. So we're getting them nice and slim. I'm checking to see what's happening down the barrel view. And I nearly turned your finger the wrong way. Can you see how we have flat here, and we still have bulk here? Yeah? So we're breaking all this down. Most of you are just going, I want you to really break it down today, yeah? And then I'm going to file from here down. I'm going to try to file from the apex down. And I'm pulling the file towards me. So if we look at this now, I've not even hit that section, yeah? I'm moving the file across those curves. And I'm going to check it like this. And I'm going to go over the top to each of those side points, yeah? And back over again. Check. I'm putting a little bit more pressure on the tip just to thin that out. So I'm sort of hitting this point now. And I'm looking down the barrel of the nail. I'm not looking at the side of the nail. I'm watching this thickness being reduced. I'm just going to soften the apex now. So you can see we're breaking down each section of that nail. I'm really pinching away the finger as well. I've got a bit of a vice grip, haven't I? So, see that this position, I see lots of people doing this. And that's why you end up filing all your skin, because you keep hitting your skin and hitting your thumb with the file. It needs to be like this. See how this is parallel, this is parallel. I have some serious fake tan hands going on. Ignore those, please.
Just show up a bit.
Yeah, it's terrible. So because we're pulling the skin away, we're not going to hit the client's skin. And we can also really see what we're working with.
Would you ever use your e-file at this point?
You can use your e-file, but I want you to break down this hand filing.
I don't use an e-file.
Don't you?
No, I'm going to do Karen's course soon.
Okay, so let's just check this again. So we're going to turn this hand over, and this is what I want you to look for as well. This is really important when it comes to filing. So if we look at this, okay, so this is thinner than this. You see that on there? I have more room to file here. Dead important when you're filing to think, oh, looks a bit bulky that side. Have I got room for file? Because you think, I want to take it in, but is it too thin? Some people get scared of over-filing it because they don't want to thin it out too much and create a weak spot. But if you look here underneath, you're able to really see what you're working with. Now I've got onto a softer file because I just want to perfect it a little bit. Now there's one little trick that I like to do when I'm using tips. I'll show you all. So we've pinched it to make it look like a sculpt, haven't we? And then there's one more thing we can do. I'm going to take this bit and go underneath. Now at this angle, I'm not going straight, I'm slightly angled up. So I'm like this, yeah? Because I can see the tip. I don't want it to look like that. I want that tip to be gone. I want it to just look like a sculpt. So this is a really cool little thing you can do. We do this in competitions when we do tip and overlay because the judge doesn't want to see that it looks like a tip and overlay. You get like loads of points for that. So if any of you are thinking about doing any competition work, that's a cool tip as well. And then we're going to buff. You want to kind of repeat what you've done previously. And depending how abrasive your buffer is, I mean, these ones are only 200 grits, so they make it super smooth. If you were doing a gel polish on top, you could go over with a coarser buffer, so you don't have to put your base on. But if any of you have trouble with gel polish peeling, then I would definitely apply your base to whatever gel system you're using. So you want to get rid of any flat spots with your buffer. Going to wipe over with gel residue wipe off solution. Right, so let's top coat. Now when you do it, I don't want you to put a colour on. I want to see everything about that nail, yeah? So the girls are getting started now. I'm going to go check on them and see if they're doing everything that I've told them. Else I will smack their bottoms with the nail file. There you go, guys, hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Many conversations that can't be on the channel. Forget the cameras are there.
Yeah, sometimes people complain about the amount of music that'll be in the video, but that's probably because something was getting talked about that can't be on there.
Can you see me on the camera?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a weird angle. That is up there.
You like camera baby?
And I've got a right big forehead going on. Got a 5 head.
You doing moves for?
Huh?
You can't see you doing moves.
No, well that's what Adam's got. And there's 2 cameras here. Just so he's got my face.